We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello everyone. Today in this lecture I am going to discuss the speed time curve that is very important in utilization of electrical energy and traction. Okay, this is Professor Rajesh Yadav from Shankar Singh Waghela Bapu Institute of Technology. So first question arises, what is the speed time curve and why it is so important? Actually, speed time curve is a curve which represents speed versus time. But important thing is that here speed is generally in kilometer per hour and time will be in second. That is because generally speed is measured in kilometer per hour. Or train speed, vehicle speed, it is generally measured in kilometer per hour, and its representation, it is fine for us if we are representing it on each second. If or though in this electronic era we can represent them even more for more detailed way. Okay, so basically speed time curve is a graphical representation of speed versus time, and there are various parts of speed time curve. Let us understand that. So any speed time curve will be having these sections: one, rheostatic acceleration or a constant acceleration, in which speed of the vehicle or train will be increasing positively. Then after certain point, the acceleration will remain positive, but it will decrease towards zero. That's why speed will increase, but not that much faster as earlier. So ultimately speed will become constant somewhere. So this duration 0 to t1 is known as constant acceleration duration. Then time period from t1 to t2 is known as uh, acceleration on speed time curve. And then after reaching on certain maximum value, the train will keep on moving on the same speed for up to few uh, for some time, and that duration is known as free running time. So here T2 to T3 represents free running time period of the speed time curve. After, but when suppose destination is near and the driver is aware that train is having sufficient momentum and it can travel itself up to some distance, so he will cut the power supply. And when power supply is cutted because of the frictional forces existing in form of air, surface friction and various kind of frictions, the momentum, the speed will decrease slightly, but not that much fast that it will stop suddenly. It will keep on decreasing, but slowly. So, and after some time, when it is required to stop the train finally, the brake is applied. So from point C to D, in which supply to the train is removed and train's velocity decreases because of frictional forces, that is known as costing period. After the point when braking is applied and finally speed of train tends to zero, that is known as braking. So here T3 to T4 represents costing period and T4 to T5 represents braking period. Now I want to okay. Now I want to discuss few more things about the speed time curve. Actually, we discussed typical speed time curve, in which we discussed about constant acceleration period, then acceleration on a speed curve T1 to T2, then free running period T2 to T3, then costing, then braking. Now, the speed time curve for different services. As we know, there are three broad categories of uh, services, like main service, mainline service, suburban service, then urban service. In all these three, the most important difference is distance between the stations, or distance between the two stations, consecutive stations. So it is but obvious in rural areas the distance between two stations is higher than urban area, the distance between two stations is low. So if we look on the graph like this, on the these are three different graphs for of speed time curves for three different service lines. In the first one, we can see that train attains its maximum speed then and very small time again it goes to zero. That means stations are too close to each other. That's why this kind of shape is attained. Then in second case, distance between two stations is little bit more, and in final case the distance between two stations is very high. So the shape comes like this. So but why we are okay, so one another important thing to keep in mind about the speed time curve is area under the curve of these graph. Area under the curve, speed time curve, will always give distance traveled by the train. Why it is so? Because on the y-axis we are having speed which is in kilometer per hour, and in x-axis we are having time, that is second. And if we take area, that is that multiplication of both, you will find ultimately it is kilometer or distance. So area, keep in mind, area under the speed time curve is distance. So by this we can calculate distance traveled by different trains for different service lines. But as you can see, these graphs are not ordinary, or we are not aware about these kind of graphs. They are not some regularly occurring graphs, but we can simplify them to some known graphs, for known graphs which are easier to understand, and we can calculate area of that. But when simplifying, we will keep in mind that there should not be very drastic simplification. So here are simplified speed time curves. So if you focus on this speed time curve, this can be better simplified with the help of a trapezoidal, which is going which is shown over here. Like the original curve is 0 to A2, then B2, then C. Instead of that, we can represent it by 0 to A1, then B1, and then C. If you will, if you look at this graph, so you will find that the area that we have neglected above A1, B1 is being compensated in this part. Okay, so distance calculated by this simplified graph will be almost same as distance calculated with the help of original graph. Same way, the speed time curve for urban service lines and suburban service lines can be, these graphs can be simplified to quadrilateral speed time curves. What are quadrilateral speed time curves? We can, let me show you. These kind of graphs, this is a simplified speed time curve for urban service line, and this graph is known as quadrilateral speed time curve. Okay, so now let us discuss some terms related with speed time curve. The first most important term is crest speed. That is nothing but the maximum speed attained by train during the run. So if we look on the graph, any graph, this may be the crest speed, then average speed, as we know distance between two stops, and actual time of run. Then we are having another interesting speed, that is scheduled speed. It is like this: distance between two stops, then actual time of run plus stop time. So there is a very fine difference, or there is difference between average speed and scheduled speed, and that is that schedule speed also considers the halt time, the stoppage time. That's why scheduled speed will be always less than or equal to average speed. So these are the few terms one should be aware when under learning speed time curves. So keep in mind these three definitions: types of speed time curves, simplified speed time curves, then the terms related to speed time curves, like segments of speed time curve, like braking, fasting, free running time, acceleration on a speed curve, then rheostatic acceleration. So thank you.